What's your summer plans?
Just working on stuff and going to events. Is
The
this on? Are
author
we doing
life.
the interview, or is this just us chatting this whole
I
time?
don't know.
So
We're recording.
I can't tell if we started or not, so I don't know what to
I
talk about.
know. It's true. We just went from catching up to. Well, we can start. I'll just edit this out anyways. We can start.
Okay.
But I was just genuinely curious.
Oh, my plants. Yeah, we don't really do plants. Hunter's illness really makes everything difficult for planning, so everything's more spontaneous. If he's filling up to doing something, we'll try and do that. But I do have 4 events in 5 weeks at the end of July going into August.
Nice.
And then I have a couple weeks off, and then I go to Tennessee. So for the next 3 months, I've got a lot going on while trying to finish some stuff I should have already had finished. So
Yeah, the catch up game. It's hard. It is really hard to make time to do creative things.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
just not even just the time, the mental space you need. You know, it's hard to create when there's a lot of stuff going on that's draining you from that kind of energy.
For sure. Because yeah, you can be like Sunday, I'm gonna block off these 4 hours, and then you get in front of your computer and you're like, wow,
Yeah, it could
I
just be, well, you just
can't
don't,
write anything.
everything going on, and trying to prioritize, what's really important and all that stuff, and it can really sap you, so that by the time you are getting to write, your writing just is hollow, and that's not a good thing either. So
No, it's true. I mean, it's good to just be writing, I guess,
yeah, yeah. I
correct?
mean,
But
you get
it
the you
doesn't
get the
get you
words in,
further. Right,
yeah,
but it doesn't
but
get you
then
further towards your deadline goal,
yeah, but then you go back and
for
look at it, and you're
example.
like, oh, hey, here's 6 chapters that are just shit, and I can't use
Yeah,
any of it. I can use
exactly.
the words the and but the rest of it's garbage, and so now I've got to figure out how to rewrite all this. So
Yeah.
that's always a bad thing too. So,
Yeah, no,
but yeah,
that's
no,
true.
I've got. I mean, I guess I'll announce it sort of on here. I'm working on Rest Stop 2. Hope to have that done soon, and I just finished a story for an anthology that's coming out soon that I can't talk about, but it's going to be really cool. The lineup's really amazing, so I'm honored to be a part of it. And I've got another anthology I need to get a story done. I think it's due in a month or two, but I'm usually really bad about keeping up with my calendar, so I'm not sure when it's due. So I just know there's one more story I owe somebody.
Okay.
And
Super secret anthology.
yeah, yeah. I can't say
Exciting.
anything until he says something, and
That's
so
right.
and he hasn't said anything. So
Can't spill the beans early.
and then I'm
So
also
no,
working
no.
on a sequel to Sins of the Past.
To what?
Sins of the Past.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
working on the
Okay.
next chapter of that.
Nice. And
Sins of the
what
Past
did
is
you
the
say?
third.
What did you say you're did you say you're releasing something soon? Or did you
Well,
say you
Rest
just
Stop
finished
2.
something?
I'm hoping Rest Stop 2 will be soon. I'm in the
Oh, Rest
middle
Stop
of it.
2. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I knew
So,
about that anyways.
yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. I have the
Yeah,
first one. I haven't read it yet though.
oh, cool. Then you can read them together back to back.
Yeah, I got it from you at STC this year, I think.
I think so. That's hard
The
to
little
tell. Brewers
chapbooky
do.
guy,
Yeah, a
right?
little, yeah. You probably got the little pocketbook.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll
The
probably
cover.
end up being the same idea,
Okay.
but, until I write it, I won't know how thick it is. So,
Right.
and then I'm thinking about taking the two of them and putting them, if I do a third one, I'll probably do them like that, and then do
Yeah.
like an omnibus of the three.
Put put them
So,
together. I think that's cool. I personally like that. Like I like short story collections. I like anthos. I like the novella collection
yeah,
idea too.
I
I like
find
jumping from story to story.
I find people enjoy the one shot more than they
Mm.
enjoy the story collections.
Yeah, usually.
So I just keep everything separate. But if I'm going to do that, I might finish it, like do a trilogy, and I've got an idea for the third one too when I finish this. So
Yeah, I guess I'm in the minority with that. I would
I think
prefer it
you
all
are.
compiled into one book, even if it's not even the same theme stories. Like if it's just
Yeah.
like a random compilation of Eric's work from forever, I'd be like, throw
Mhm.
it in a book and send it my way.
Yeah. Yeah, you are, I think. Well, there are a few. I've talked to folks that said that they enjoy that, but when you go to like an event and stuff, those seem to me to be the hardest sells.
Yeah. For me,
Because
that's the first thing. I go to the table and I'm like, what do you got all in one book for me? And people
yeah,
are like, oh, this book I never sell.
yeah, I know, right? And
Yeah.
so, and I have one, Smashing Good Times, and then I have enough to do another one. I just haven't put it together yet. So,
I will buy it immediately.
all right, well, that'll make it right there.
Yep.
So, I know I've got one
I'm
settled down, so I need to do it.
I think I think I have everything now.
Do you?
Yeah, since this last STC.
Okay. Well,
Pretty sure.
I'm behind on everything. I'm hoping to flood 2026 with just a bunch of nonsense.
I mean, I haven't read it all. I just mean I've collected it all.
Oh no, that's cool.
I'm
Hey, to
behind on
me,
my reading.
that's
I'm
the
behind on my reading.
I don't know, that's the biggest hurdle, just getting them into
Yeah.
people's hands.
For
Uh,
you, but for readers, it's
yeah, for readers,
finding
it's
time
the
to
stack,
read.
and I'm the same way. I have a huge stack of stuff,
Yeah.
and then I had to put everything aside because Candace is putting out a new one, so I dropped everything so I could start looking at her new Hank Flynn, which
Yeah,
is
I just got it actually.
spectacular. Of course, I'm halfway through it and enjoying it.
Oh, nice.
And
I've
then,
not read the first one, so I have to read the first one and then. Although Christina said you can read the second one, and she gives like kind of just enough that like you
yeah,
can
you don't.
actually read
Yeah,
standalone.
you don't need to read the first one. At least not
Yeah.
so far. I haven't seen any need for it. So,
Yeah.
which
So
is always
I do kind of appreciate that. I like that.
oh for sure. Yeah, I try to explain that when I sell books to everybody that you may see more than one public on the table, but I don't want you to feel obligated to buy them all. If you
Right.
gravitate to one that happens later, I've written it so that you can read one and walk away. That's how I did
I've
Don
read three
Texas
of
too.
them. I've read three of them, and I have no idea what order I read them in, or what order they go in, or whatever. And I've had not it like that's a non-issue for sure.
Yeah, I try to
I
do that with
liked.
everything I do.
I'd actually have to whip up my Goodreads, but there was like two of them I liked. They were great. One of them I really liked.
Is that the Don Texas? Because public, I only have two books.
Oh, I wasn't thinking about. Oh, sorry, I was talking about Don TX.
Yeah,
I
Don
just say
Texas, the
Don
first
TX. You
collection.
call it Don Texas. That's funny.
Yeah,
I'm like
because
Don
that's what it is.
TX.
It's
I know.
Don
I get it.
Texas.
That's
It's a
what
place.
TX is. I know.
And
But us
so,
Canadians over here are just like DONTX.
yeah, I know, right? And a lot of times it sounds like I'm saying my wife's name too.
Sorry, I've read both Publix. Love them.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Bought a shirt.
I know that was
Super
really
fan.
nice of you. So,
That's really funny that I'm wearing it today. I
I'm
only
wearing
brought
one
like
too.
little
I'm wearing
things.
my Shadow Within shirt.
Yes, that I did buy that this year. Have not read it yet though. Or last. Anyways, I have it. I have not read it yet though. But yeah, I only brought like a minimal amount of clothing to my cousin's house, and this was one of the shirts I grabbed.
Very
So
cool. I'm gonna have two new shirts at the next three events. I'm hoping to have everything in time for Texas Author and Reader Con, but for sure by Books and Brews, I'll have two new shirts.
oh, nice. How many do you have now? Like, how many designs do you have now? This one, that one.
I've got four, five maybe. Rest
Okay.
Stop, Pope Lick, Don Texas, the author shirt that you're wearing, Shadow Within. Yeah, so five. And I'll have two more. So I'll have the Grove, which has been one that a lot of
Oh, the
people ask
Grove. Yeah.
for, and
I have your Goodreads up here, and I'm like the Grove.
that's a cool cover, and I think it'll make a
Yeah.
great, fantastic shirt. And then I did a new Don Texas shirt that celebrates the cover for the 1969 ebook cover.
Oh,
And it's
nice.
more of a
Okay.
general Don Texas. It just says "Welcome to Don Texas," I think, on it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So the first one, 69, and 52.
52 was a short story I wrote just to kind of get an introduction to see if I liked it and see if there were readers that were interested.
Oh, that makes sense. I think maybe I read that one first, to be honest.
And
But yeah, I think I really liked 69.
then 69 has kind of got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe to it.
Yes. Yes.
And
100%.
then it jumps to 1865, which is a Western, and it gives you the
Which I have
origin
not
of the
read yet.
Scarecrow. And then
Oh,
from there,
I love
jumps to
Origin. Yeah.
26, which gives us the origin of the hotel.
Okay. Oh yes. Okay, that's really cool.
And then after
So
that, it got so big, I stopped doing them as shorts because the original plan was I was going to release all these ebooks and then I was going to collect them into a paperback as collections. 1926 was long enough that it basically is like half the book. And so then I thought, okay, this isn't looking like that plan's going to work because then I wrote the next one, 2002, and it's long enough
2002.
to be a novella. So I released it by
Okay.
itself, and then I did 1978, which was going to be,
78.
which was
Yeah.
released by itself. So
So I feel like I am kind of reading. I probably was reading them in like order of release. I feel
yeah,
like.
but you can read them any way you wanted to.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like, but I guess yeah. I mean, I read them in order of
If you
release,
get
so
the
I guess I can't
paperback,
really comment on that.
yeah, I know. I don't know anybody that's actually read them chronologically, but they have done, because if you buy the volume
Yeah.
one, you're kind of stuck doing it in the order I put it in.
Right.
I mean, I
Which
guess
is
you
yeah.
could
That's
jump
what
around
happened.
if you wanted to.
Like I read 52, then I read
And I,
volume 1, then I read 69.
52, I'm thinking of going back and expanding it because, like I said, it
That's
was a
probably
short
a good
story
idea.
just to test the waters. And now I'm thinking, well, I have more ideas for that year. And so every story takes
Yeah.
place in a different year. Every year gives you a different piece of the puzzle of why the town's the way it is. And then, and each one focuses on a different part of the timeline of this cursed town in Texas.
Yeah, it gave me like Children of the Corn vibes a little bit.
Yeah, I
Just
kind
like
of
with
try
the
to
town.
do a little
Yeah.
bit of everything, so
Mhm.
that I wouldn't get bored as a writer, but then also then the reader can kind of jump around. If you like splatter westerns, you just read 1865 and you just let it go. But
Right.
if you want to read, if you're more interested in the supernatural, 26 kind of fits that bill more than the other ones. And so 69 and 78, they do have supernatural vibes to them, but they also have I think they're a little heavier on the slasher.
Yeah, 69 was like, yeah, yes. Yeah, and maybe that's why like I like Supernatural too. Like
If
I
you
also
like 69, 78 is kind of a direct sequel.
I feel like that is like that's the next one on my like TBR for that like series.
Yeah, it's a fun one. I've got a whole bunch of more ideas plotted out. I just need to sit down and write them, but I'm trying to keep going. I did like a huge chunk of Dawn, Texas, to the point
Hmm.
where Dawn, my wife, she was like, "Are you going to ever write anything other than Dawn, Texas?" Because I was putting
Right.
out so much Dawn, Texas stuff, and
But
so
like you got to kind of ride the wave if
yeah. Well, I
that's
was just the ideas were there, and I kind of
Mhm.
wanted to. And at the time, I was trying to push the idea of the ebook stuff, getting KU reads and all that nonsense. So
Right.
I was kind of experimenting, and the Dawn Texas allowed me to do that. And so then I flipped it and started doing a whole bunch of the pocketbook stuff where I was doing. I call them my monsters are everywhere series because each book focuses on a different kind of monster and a different situation with the monster. And monsters can be anything. So some of them are human, some of them are other things. So, and that's where
Okay.
you get the rest stop, the surrogate. What are the stare death in the eyes, and I'm trying to think of the other. Oh, kiss me where it smells funny.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
kiss
think
me where
there's
it smells funny.
one more, but I can't remember what it's
Does the
called.
Grove fall into that?
The Grove does too, yeah. But I'm thinking there's
Does
one
Oh,
other.
there's something in the water.
But and then of course I killed that one because I expanded it and added a second book to it, and I
Yes.
made it different.
I
So
bought the double.
yeah, and I think it works better as a complete thing. And I didn't want
Hmm.
to have people read the first one a year ago, buy the second one, and then by the time they get to the second one, not have any idea what's going on because they really do go together. So
Yeah.
I decided to make it its own thing and re-release it as a book and then pull it out of that series.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's smart.
I
I
really
think that was a
enjoyed,
good call.
yeah, and I love see, I've got it down here. There's something I just love the cover. I love everything
Oh, me
about
too.
it. I love the size. It's got that traditional paperback feel to it, and
Yep.
it does
Easy
it.
to hold.
And the story is complete, which I didn't feel. The other one wasn't. It wasn't not complete, but when you start reading what would have been part two, um, you then see how they kind of need to be together to make
Yeah,
a coherent idea. So,
that's
and
cool.
plus
I
it
like that.
helps, with the table space and all that. It's kind of cool to have that. that space back for a larger book. So
Yeah, no, I always appreciate, like, I like your tables because there's such like a diverse
thank you.
spread.
Well, I
Yeah.
think it's because I'm a diverse reader myself, and I love different things, and so I like to see a whole bunch of options and choices. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, I know, because some people are like, "How do I make a choice? There's so much here." But you
Right.
hope you have something that hits their sweet spot and the one thing that they really do love. So
Or you just make the choice like me and you just
yeah,
buy
that's
it all.
even better. I love it when people do that too.
I
Let me
can't
get one of
pick.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
I did
but
it across 3 years, probably, right? I feel
yeah,
like.
I think so. Yeah, because you got I think Goatman always goes first. Usually,
Right.
Goatman's the thing. If it's Goatman Don
Yep.
Texas, somebody's going to pick.
Hmm.
That's what they're going to pick. It's either the Scarecrow or a giant Goatman that eats people. And
For
then
sure.
after that, they'll come back and say, "Okay, I like this. I want to get the rest of
Right.
this stuff." Now, it helps to have the little pocketbooks because they're kind of cheap, and people are like, "Well, I can read it," and those are great because if you sell one at day one of an event, that person may read it that night because they're small, and then they'll
Right.
come back to the table and they'll be like, "Okay, you don't suck. Let me try another book." So,
Love when that happens.
and that's really cool. It happened in Seattle at Crypticon.
Cool.
We had somebody buy the Rest Stop and the Grove, and on a Friday, and then Saturday they came back and then they bought a bunch more because they were excited about what they read.
Nice.
And that's the
That's
kind of
so
thing.
cool.
That's what when I originally put those out was one to take advantage of Godless's setup, and people on Godless don't have an attention span for a longer thing, so you want a quick story for them. But also, I wanted people to have an opportunity to get a taste of my style because everybody's style is different, and you may hate it or love it, and then you'll know if you want to continue and check out some of the longer things.
Yeah,
Um,
no, that's true. And then also I noticed that you'll often have like deals, like, buy them all for this amount or, three
Yeah,
and
that's always something. If somebody's willing to take a chance on a series or a group of books, um, and you can give them a break on it, I think that's something you should do. They're
yeah,
taking
that's a
a
good
big
idea.
chance, especially if they're not a fan or if they haven't read your stuff before and they're willing to dive into the deep end. You should try and help them out a little bit, I think. But and it
Yeah, I think
encourages
that's
people to
that's
do
awesome.
that. So, and especially when
Yeah.
you're at an event where you may not come back. Like in Seattle, I don't think I'm going back to Seattle next year. But hopefully I will be able to return at some point. But so everybody that got a chance to buy more stuff in Seattle, they may not see me for a little bit. So
Yeah, you got out as much as like you could in the time you were there. I like that.
yeah, yeah, Seattle was fun. I mean, I was Crypticon had a cool vibe to it. It's
That's cool.
definitely a party event though. So if you're a big party goer, I would suggest it
Mm,
because after hours, it's just like a nightclub. They take over an entire floor of the hotel.
right.
And you go to that floor and every room's got something different going on:
Oh, that's
karaoke,
crazy.
dancing, trivia. um, I want to say they had a couple podcasts going, just a whole bunch of different stuff. Oh, they had like a Cirque du Soleil thing going on. We got invited to
That's
that.
wild.
Yeah, I'm not sure, we didn't go, so I don't know what happened. So but
Right.
I mean they gave us the flyer and explained it, and they had some movie stuff going. They were showing movies and stuff, so that was kind of cool. And I thought they did a really good job for the way they had it laid out and stuff, and they had some really cool celebrities there. Because this Crypticon's more of a horror movie thing than it is.
Right. It's a
It's not like
cinema thing. Yeah.
Scares. Scares is so unique and fun, but
Yeah.
it's a one
Like
note
AuthorCon.
event. It's an author con. So
Yeah.
if you're not into authors, it might be a tough sell. But if you do love to read and you like to talk to people, then I think AuthorCon's pretty cool. It's
Yeah. I was gonna
probably, I
say.
think it's the premier event. I've seen some grumblings of other people kind of throwing around different events, but I think if you're a horror author, Scares is the number one.
It's a really good one to go to, especially like if you're only going to do one in a year
Yeah,
or that's your first one because it's super chill. Everyone's so friendly. It's huge, like comparatively to like some other ones. I shouldn't say huge, but it's like on the bigger side, whatever. So if that's like your first kind of dipping your toes in the convention, like then the rest of them are easy. Like I feel like
yeah,
you're
for sure.
kind of
I mean,
like
usually you have a pop up 50 authors maybe, but
yeah,
Scares is 100 plus authors. It's 10, 15 guests of honor, and they're usually
Mhm.
really big names.
Yeah.
And then you have all the up and comers and some of the people that have been here for a while, and so it's just a fun mix of authors.
It's a really
That,
good mix, yeah, and it's like, I mean, people come from pretty far too.
oh
Like,
yeah,
it's not like it's just Virginian authors at all. Like, there's a few, for sure. Like, there's a bunch, but like, people are like, you drive 24 hours to get there,
yeah,
and
because I'm an
I
idiot.
fly
Some people
48
fly.
sometimes.
Yeah, I know, right? You sit in an airport for 3 days,
Yeah.
but
But realistically, it's like 22 hours, 24 hours for me to fly 3 planes to get there. Like,
yeah,
it's a lot.
it's a haul. It's not easy, and
Yeah.
it's but it's worth it, I
It's
think.
worth it. Obviously, we go every year. So,
Yeah, I know, right? So I mean, it's hard not to. Every year
did you come to the first one,
I
or
missed
was
the
your
very
first one
first one
the second one? Yes.
because
Okay.
originally it was more like Crypticon. It was they
Right.
had guests like celebrities, but then
Hmm.
they decided to do an author con. That first one, Candace told me to go, and I just it's funny. I didn't think I had enough books out. I didn't think it was worth. I didn't think I was ready to go to an event that size. I hadn't been to an event at all, so I didn't know better. But when I
Right.
looked at it, I thought, well, at that time you could only be one author per table too,
Yes,
and
that's true. There were
so
no sharing tables yet.
I didn't feel like I had enough at the table, and I didn't know for sure if it was going to be worth the drive, the trip. And then also that same year, we moved my mother-in-law to a retirement facility in California,
Right.
and so it happened to fall over the same weekend. So there was no chance of me getting to go, and that
It
was
wasn't
okay.
gonna happen.
Yeah. So everything works out the way it's supposed to, and so I went to
Sure,
the
for
next
sure.
one, and I had one event under my belt, Texas Author and Reader Con, which at the time was called Texas Author Con, and it was 14 writers. And we were on a little room, and it went really well. And I think that was the thing that gave me the confidence to go to scares and not think about it being a big deal.
Nice.
Because at that, I mean, I don't really know anybody. I don't talk to anybody. I do now more than I did then, but then I think I talked to maybe 3 other people on a consistent basis. I didn't know anybody.
No, that's true. I feel like
So
we met there, didn't we?
yeah, our first meeting was at that
Yeah.
second scares, and so
Yeah, I don't think we'd ever talked before. Like, I knew your name, and
yeah, and I didn't even
but
when I started. I released my first book, The Shadow Within, December of 2019, and I just released it, and I didn't even know that there was books of horror. I didn't know that there were actually people on Facebook that had pages that talked about stuff. Didn't have an author's page. I didn't have anything. I just released a book, and then I looked around and said, "I wonder what I'm supposed to do now." So I just wrote
I
Pope
love that.
and just did Poplick, and I released that in I think April of 2020, right before or right as COVID was coming down on everything.
Right.
And that by that time I'd figured out, oh, I'm actually supposed to like engage with people, and I found all these groups, and I slowly started, and then I met a few people that actually had some ideas of what I need to be doing. Because I went and figured out how to release a book, but I never found anything that told me how to like
Market or
market anything, right? And
so,
so I
yeah.
even took a class at TCU on how to publish a book to make it look like you published with an official
Like
publisher.
trad or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So it
I
would,
mean, that's
because
cool
at
though.
the
Like,
time in 2019, which is amazing that it's not that long ago, but
no.
indie horror was kind of frowned upon.
Yeah,
Everything
it was
you
still
needed to be
underground.
traditional. You needed to
Yeah.
have that. I don't know, the
Like
illusion at least.
something backing you. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
you couldn't
like
be
you
like,
had
hey, I
some sort of
write.
professional thing going on.
Right.
And by
For sure.
2021, maybe it kind of got to the point where people were starting to open up and be cool with indie publishers just being indie,
Yeah.
self-publishing.
I would agree with that. 2021, it really like was the fire was fueled.
Yeah. And the
It kind
fact
of
if you,
took
if you
off.
take a step back and look, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff going on in traditional publishing. I don't want to shit on anybody,
Sure.
but
Oh my
I
gosh, no. It's
find indie
they're two
horror,
different they're
yeah,
two
I
different
just think all the fun
things.
and interesting things that I read seem to come out of indie horror. A lot of it.
Agreed. I think that with like traditionally published, and even with like some of the indie small presses, like, or some of the publishers too, like, you're gonna get maybe more mainstream suggestions,
No,
for
for sure. They're definitely
readership and
like,
selling and stuff. And like, there's obviously pros to that and stuff like that. But like when like that's why some of my favorite books are like I want to read The Shadow Within, because it's like that was you literally just being like, I'm gonna write a book about it without
yeah,
anyone being like, but it should be like this if you want
yeah,
to sell it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
No, it was a funny, and
obviously
it was
benefit in
really the
that.
story. Shadow Within story is like all over the place
Right.
because it took me probably 10 years to finish that book.
Yeah.
And so that's why Popelick is so
That's
weird,
rad.
because it took like 6 months, maybe 5 months.
And
or
it
something.
is more like, what's the word? Like I don't want to say like traditionally
Oh, it is
formatted, but it's
traditional.
like
Yeah,
it has like
everything
yeah.
about it is like
Yeah. I mean it is, I guess, yeah.
it's my
Right.
interpretation of what a publisher probably would have looked at. You know what I mean?
Right.
Shadow Within. It has that vibe to it. It's not near as wild ass as Public,
Right.
but it is in its own way. So
Right.
I mean,
Well, that's
it's
interesting.
extreme, and it has a lot of elements to the
Right.
point where even C. Commissar made a comment about how she thought that the direction I took on one specific section was amazing, outside the
That's
box
cool.
and all that kind of stuff. So that let me
Yeah,
know.
see, that's fun.
Yeah, that let me know that I was on the right path early on, because she's one of the first champions I had um, of any of my stuff. She's always been a
Nice.
fan, and she's always been somebody that's honest with me and will give me good feedback and stuff. And so I like to bounce a lot of stuff off of her.
That's cool.
Yeah, she's a
It's
really
really
cool.
good
She
to
is
have.
champion of extreme.
Right. It's really good to have somebody like that though, like that you can.
Yeah, because she hates Sins of the Past, and she'll
Right.
tell you. I mean, half of her review of Sins of the Past is, well, this book isn't for me, but, or I don't like X, but, because it's more fantasy, and she hates fantasy.
Okay. So yeah, not
So
up her alley at all.
yeah, nothing at
Makes
all. And
sense.
it has violence, but it's PG-13 violence in my mind. My
Right.
sister says it's the most horrific thing she's ever read. So it just like I always say with
Right.
horror, everything's
It's
subjective.
relative. It's
So every
subjective. It's
person's
all
going to
relative,
react
right?
differently. So, but
For sure. Like so like my relationship with extreme horror actually, and splatterpunk both, is like I like oftentimes I find myself being like, I'm not a fan of extreme horror, but that's a lie because I am a fan of a lot of extreme horror.
right,
But like, it's not my go-to. It's not my first. Like, I don't even think like I don't know why, but like I don't think of your stuff as extreme horror because when I read it, it doesn't seem like that extreme for me. Maybe I don't know
right, and I try not
because
to
it
make
also
it. But
matters, right? But then there's other stuff that I read that I'm just like, this is not my like for me. You know what I mean? And it's not because it's extreme. It's just it's not my extreme. I guess I don't know.
right, when I started, I used the term extreme because I wanted people to know it's rated R.
Right.
There's
Oh,
sex,
and I
there's
mean, it's brutal
violence, and there's that
for
stuff. But
sure.
I wasn't meaning extreme. I feel like extreme got hijacked around 2020 as I was
Right.
pushing more into it, and then extreme started to mean gross. But I don't
Right.
mean gross, and I don't. And
No.
a lot of the extreme that's out now isn't gross. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what they're trying to do. But the second you say I write extreme, 90% of the folks say, "Oh, this is just
Right.
gross out horror."
Oh, gross just to be gross.
Right.
Yeah.
I started calling that checklist horror because you have a checklist of
Okay.
nonsense that you have to have in those
Right.
stories.
Snot, barf,
Yeah.
poop. Right.
Okay.
Gotta get
This person ate crap.
right.
Here we go. That's
But
done.
also, like, there are people that like that shit, man, and there's
Yeah.
people that like that shit. Like, think of Benetti, right? Like, Benetti shit is
Oh, yeah.
hilarious. It's awesome. People love
Yeah,
it.
but
Even
his is
I've read some
more.
of his shit, and I'm like, this is great.
Yeah,
But
his
that's
is
not my.
Bizarro,
It's not my.
though, right?
Yeah.
I think he's Bizarro. Bizarro
Yeah. Yes.
extreme.
You're
Yes.
right. That's different. You're right. Bizarro is different.
But you'll know it when you read it. When you read somebody's book,
Yeah. Right.
100% the same book that you've read 10 times, and they have the exact same eating X, it's either period or poop. It's one of the two. And then you go to the
Right.
next thing. The killing's done in a way that's just checked. It's very formulaic. And I
Yes.
understand that there's a
Yes.
place for that. Totally don't,
Yeah.
there's cool
Yeah.
movies. I mean, Art the Clown is basically that. And so there's a place for it, and I enjoy a lot of it. So I'm not shitting on it. I'm just saying that there's different levels of it, and I just wish our extreme had a different term. But when I say extreme, I
Yeah.
just mean it's not PG-13.
For sure. It's rated R. It's brutal.
Yeah.
Like, prepare yourself for some gore and whatever. Yeah, like
And you know
mature
what was
subject
funny
matter.
is I also think
Whatever.
that it's different than gross out from the
Yeah.
competition side. Because like Benetti's gross out stuff is thoughtful, funny, um, very twisted, and you can kind of see the genius in it. And then you watch like this last year at the gross out, I thought there were a lot of great stories,
Hmm.
good presentation. So I mean, I don't even mean when I'm saying certain gross out stuff. I mean, there's a place for that gross out horror too, and there's a
Oh
strong
my
following.
god, yeah.
So,
I've read some like I've picked up like I go in blind a lot, and I've picked up some stuff that after having read it, I would be like, if someone had told me what that was about, I probably wouldn't have read that.
mhm.
But I like sincerely enjoyed it, and I'm
Yeah,
like
I'm the same
hella
way.
glad I did read it, right?
Yeah.
So I've actually the last like 6 books that I've edited have all been extreme horror, and 3 of them would have been straight up DNFs for me if I was reading for fun. But what I'm learning is that when I'm reading for editing,
Hmm.
it doesn't hit me the same way because I'm in like work mode.
That's good.
Yeah, so like it's actually kind of like cool because like this last one that I just sent in this morning, like I like it's a good story. It's a good story. It's like quick and dirty, like it's 25,000 words or whatever, just like a little novelette thing that they wrote. But like if I had read the back of it or someone had told me about it, I would have been like, hell no, that is not for me. But like having worked on it and then like reading it like for the last pass this morning, I was like, wow, this like shaped up to be like a sweet little story, and also still like wouldn't probably have read it though, even.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know what I
no, I
mean?
get that.
So
Yeah,
it's very strange. Like I don't know.
I can be
And
the
like
same way.
I was gonna say, but also like when you're writing, do you write things that you wouldn't necessarily read potentially, or do you find that you like write what you read?
Um, yeah, that's tough. I don't know. I'll tell you this: the last 2 or 3 things I've done have been way spicier than what I normally look for when I'm looking for a book. And so,
Okay,
yeah, I guess
right,
sometimes the way I've always said it is the story goes where the story goes, and
for
then
sure.
that's what you deal with. Um, Now, if you told me what I would have read The Goat Man without blinking. Shadow Within is a layman-esque story. I would have read that without thinking about it. Dawn, Texas is something, yeah, I probably would have read without. I would have been intrigued by the whole idea of it. Not to toot my own horn, but it's got so
Well,
many
no,
different
for sure.
layers I could see how, I mean, oh, yeah, that's something I would like. But um, yeah, I guess I've written a few things, maybe more lately than before. That where I'm asked to do something for an anthology or I'm doing something else, and I'm like, oh, this is something I normally wouldn't think about doing, but if I'm going to do it, it needs to do this, and then the story's going this way, so I guess I'm just going to lean into it. And it wouldn't be the first thing I would look for if I was looking for a thing.
Right.
So
And like you're maybe at a place in like your career where like you're more comfortable to going out of your comfort zone now. So like
yeah, I
you
think
have
so.
more
It's
like confidence in your writing, right? So you can kind of
yeah, I think
test
so
yourself.
for sure. You want to test your boundaries, and that's a good thing about
Yeah, for
having
sure.
Mike Annenbach as a friend because he's always testing my boundaries. So
He's
um,
always testing all of our boundaries, including
right,
his
yeah,
own.
but he's always big on making sure that we don't just churn out the same stuff over and over again.
Hmm.
Although it's funny though,
That's
I'm
true.
working on Rest Stop 2, and I had to go back and read Rest Stop 1 because I needed to figure something out. And I think half of the time I was rereading it, I kept because I had forgotten everything. So I'm like, well, what the f was I thinking here? This is way more than I thought I would have done here at that time in my writing journey. So yeah, so sometimes it's fun. You go back and see all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, it's true. That's hard for me actually. Like I mean, I haven't published a lot, and the main reason I haven't published a lot is that when I look at it, I'm like, I don't want that out there because what if later I go back and I'm like, that's garbage, and everyone's like, that's part of the whole thing, and I'm like, not for me.
yeah, that
Uh,
is a big problem because I could tell you right now, I could easily sit down and rewrite everything that I've done.
yeah,
Even the
right.
thing I just turned in. I
Yeah.
already am like, I think I can see a different way of doing this. I should rewrite it.
And like, I don't judge other people on that. I'm like, that's so cool. You're so brave and awesome, and I love your shit. And I'm
Well, and
like,
I
I'm
really
so glad
appreciate
you
it
do
when
it. But
somebody
I'm like,
says
I
that. But
can't do it.
yeah,
You know.
but if I look at it, I'm like, oh, this was a terrible choice. What was I thinking? This isn't right. Oh, this is
Right.
a terrible structure. I should I should totally kill this character off earlier. And yeah, no, I think
Right.
about that all the time. It got really bad though during the re-editing process of my first 3 books because I had not had a real editor. You know, I had pseudo editors helping me out initially. But as I got more and more into doing events and talking to other people, I started thinking, well, maybe I need to really pay attention. And I had started working with Lisa Lee on Dawn, Texas. And so I had to go back and look at my first books and re-edit it. And I was re-editing only for I am comma blind. So I needed her to go through and make sure I had that punctuation, misspellings, anything I missed. I just want to clean that up. But I told her I can't change anything. I've already released these in audiobooks.
Right.
I said, so I'm not changing anything. The story can't change, but I'd like it to be clean.
Just surface level.
And then they had to go through all the surface level, you know, fixes. And as I'm doing that, I'm reading it and I'm thinking, oh, I sure wish I could change like this whole thing. Let me just change it.
You're like, just kidding. I do have to change it.
Yes, I would like to. But since I already had the audio out there, I didn't want it to be different. I didn't want people to have 2 different experiences. And warts and all, I'm still very proud of everything I put out. So,
and I think that's cool. And like to like own it, you know, to be like, yeah, that's where I was at then.
Yeah.
Here's where I am now.
Like I said, Shadow Within, I wrote. So I've written since I was very young. My mom thought it was always a good idea to make me go to writing camps and anything in the summer to get me out of the house because I was an only child. She wanted me to go interact with people and get out of the house. So I went to a lot of different writing camps and writing opportunities. And it never occurred to me that you could be a writer in the real world. So, you know, I went to college and got a degree. And then I worked, had a job forever. And then I would get these weird bursts of creativity where I had to write something, but I never would share them with anybody or, you know, I'd just put it down and then it would go into a drawer. And I remember at one point I started writing Shadow Within and I got maybe 10,000 words into it, 15,000 words. And then I got to a point where I didn't know what to do with it. And I put it into a drawer. And then a couple years after that, I read a Richard Lehman, Darkness Tell Us, for the first time. It's the first Richard Lehman book I ever read. And as soon as I finished reading it, I said, oh, that's what you can do this. And then I pulled Shadow Within back out and immediately added like
it just clicked.
Yeah. So I added a few more things. I knew what to do with it.
That's cool.
Dawn had always pushed me to write a book all the time. She's always like, you need to write a book. You should write something, you know, get this done. But I never would, because by the time I got home from work and then dealing with family and all that stuff, I was always exhausted. So I never, very sporadically. But one year I decided for Christmas I would give her a book for Christmas. And I already had 15,000 words for Shadow. So I was like, okay, this is what I'll do. And I started in October. And on Christmas Eve, I was printing it out to put it into a box.
That's wild.
So we could open it under the tree. And that was like 2017. So it was still 2 more years before I even released it. Because then I started going through the process of having other people read it, getting feedback and trying to fix it and learning how to
figuring out how to publish it. And yeah, exactly.
So then it came out in 2019. So, but yeah, that one had the longest journey to get done. But I couldn't imagine taking that long now. So that's a cool thing to have an idea of the process of getting a book done. So.
You were essentially on your own with it though. Like you.
Oh, for sure.
You've learned so much, like since
there's a lot of things I had no clue about.
For sure.
And the nice thing was when Lisa went back and was editing the other things, she's like, oh, you've always had she said something like you've always had a sense of story. You know how to tell a good story, basically.
For sure.
Telling me, and that was something that was nice to hear, and also encouraging you to continue the nonsense. So.
That's actually an interesting point because there are writers and there are storytellers, and there are writers who are also storytellers.
Yeah. And it's you know,
because not all storytellers can write a good story. They can tell a good story. Because telling a story and writing a story are different.
Yeah. Totally different.
I'm a storyteller. I'll say that right now. It's harder for me to write into a story because I want to make it fit like into some like algorithm. and the way I tell stories doesn't. So
Yeah, the other
that's a
problem
big
is that
challenge for me, but
it's so technical,
yeah,
which I think indie horrors kind of helped with that. We kind of loosened the reins a little bit. But when I know
it's
when I
true. There's
first
more
started,
like grace there.
so many rules that we're not supposed to break until we have done enough that we know what to break, when to break it. And but nobody
Yeah.
tells you any of those rules. But they'll be quick to tell you that all these other rules you've you know
You have to
desecrated.
do this,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And so
Actually,
that's always fun too.
from the editing point of view with that too, like I took a course, learned the rules. Um, but even in my course, actually, the woman that taught my course, she's been an editor for like 20 years, Canadian. Anyways, she was like, things are like shifting, and especially if you're editing, like she even did like a section on editing indie fiction, like straight up, because she's like, there's a big like boom in this and like whatever, and it's like, happening. Um, and it's like, you've got the Chicago Manual or whatever, and you've got your Merriam-Webster's dictionary, and you've got like, that stuff, like your grammar and your words. But even like grammar rules can be broken if it fits style, if it's consistent, and if it works.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you gave me a manuscript and then, some other like RJ sends me something, what I might change on yours or suggest on yours, I might leave on his. And vice versa, because like, which is like, I don't know, it's fun for me because it's more creative. It's not just like check boxes. Like I'm not just like reading your story being like, yep, he hit that, yep, he hit that, yep, he hit that, okay, Oxford comma throughout, you know what I mean? Like it's
Right.
kind of boring, right? Like, I mean, just reading the story is cool and like the technical stuff is fun. But like it's way more like, I find like, I don't know, just like editing indie stuff from different indie authors is like, it's exciting every time.
Yeah,
It's like a new
100%. I could see
thing
that
every time.
because everybody's got
Yeah.
such a unique voice, especially in indie horror. You can,
Right.
They've all been inspired by different people, and some of them, I don't want to say they haven't been inspired by anybody. They're just inspired to write, so then they have a very unique voice, and it comes across in indie horror, especially because none of us are following anything really.
Yeah.
So
You're just
kind of
following the story.
yeah. Yeah.
Which is like wicked. Like that's awesome because like people
Yeah,
are
for sure.
reading
I
the
think it's
story.
really
They're
cool,
there for the story, right?
and it's fun to pick up somebody's book that's doing that, and you're kind of like, oh, this is
Yeah.
really unique, and this is, and I don't need to worry so much about the rules of
Mm-hmm.
writing or whatever. I can just sit there and just enjoy the story.
And like even like you said, like you're like there's like layman-esque, parts of this, and like like, and I was like, Don TX is like, I got some Children of the Corn vibes, but like it's not like it's like, oh, Eric knocks off King when he writes, or like Eric knocks off Layman when he writes, like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like they're just kind of themes and like
right.
whatever that kind of influence. But like when you read an Eric Butler story, you're like, this is Eric Butler writing this story.
That's cool.
You
That's
know?
very much you just say, and I'd be fine if everyone says not I was ripping off Layman because I love him. So
I'm gonna tell everyone. It's my new rumor.
yeah, yeah. I'm just
He
writing
takes a
his.
page from each book and then like mixes them up and then
That would be
makes it.
hilarious if I started putting in like a paragraph
Could
of
you
Layman in
imagine?
everything I did.
Oh my
And
god,
see
could
if
you
anybody can
imagine?
catch it. But no, the
See,
first one does read
see if
like a
your
Layman.
editor flags it for plagiarism.
Yeah, I know, right?
I
Just
mean, they should.
part of the reason I love Lisa is that she doesn't put up with any nonsense. She's very like,
Yeah,
hey, in my face if I try and do anything that she thinks is out
like
of bounds.
untoward or
And so I like that kind
not
of.
above board.
She doesn't beat around the bush. We're going to get right into it. So I
Yeah,
like
that's
that
good.
aspect of it because I have
That's
worked
good
with
for
some
sure.
editors that are very tiptoeing around it. I just get to the point. Tell me what it is you want me to do. Let me get it done. And if
I
I
don't
don't
have time
agree
for
with you, I'm not going to do
that.
it. So
At the end of the day, you get to decide, but they should
right,
still suggest and comment and say,
right.
because like that's their job.
Yeah,
Right? If they flag something for any reason, they should make you aware of it. It's up to
yeah, and
you
I
what you
like
do
that. I
with it.
like the she does a lot of notes, and that's always been good for me
Yeah,
because she's. I have always said I'm a better writer because of Lisa, because she came on board early enough that I actually learned some stuff.
that's good.
And then
That's
I'm
cool.
open to learn. I'm still open to learn now. If somebody comes to me now with stuff, I will be. What do I know? That's how I always. That's my opinion about everything. What do I know? I'll listen, and if it makes any sense, I'll usually adapt it to whatever.
Yeah.
And so
Because
I'm always open.
sometimes like if you hear advice, 2 years ago, you might be like, I don't care what you're saying. And then 2 years later, all of a sudden, you might be like reading something or, looking at something, being like, oh my God, when that guy said this is what he meant, like now,
Yeah.
right? So, like, sometimes timing matters, like when you hear things and when you learn things. And
Oh, for sure. And I
yeah,
think it also helps that I started doing this later. I'm way more chill than I was when I was 20. 20, I
right,
knew
for sure.
everything, right? As they all do.
Right,
And
for
so I'm
sure.
sure I wouldn't have listened to
Yes.
anybody and just done my
It's
own
interesting?
thing and got all in everybody's face about it. So,
Devin Cabrera, he's like 28, 9, something. But like when he started, like he was like, mid to late 20s or whatever. And he said like that was the hardest part, actually, was like kind of like getting big and like
mhm.
having a following like so quickly. Like, and then he was like, and then I didn't know what to do with it. He's like, my ego was like, ah. And
Yeah.
so even changed in the last, like, even over the last year, the way that he kind of looks at things and does things and the way he talks to people and the way he writes and markets and like all that stuff. Like, because like timing does matter. Like, imagine if you just got big at like 25 or something. Like, I would have been
Yeah.
like, ah, like,
You look at all these kids that get famous at an early age, actors and
right.
musicians, and you see how their lives just spiral out of control because they don't know
Because
what
they
to do.
don't have the experience to like the coping skills or the adaptability or the flexibility or like whatever. Like some people just have like these natural personality traits, but it's still hard for them. Like
Yeah,
imagine
for sure.
someone who like needs to work on flexibility their whole life, like me. Like I'm just learning how to be more flexible.
Yeah,
So
no, I'm
like,
stubborn as a bull. You
right,
can ask my wife, and she'll say that it's
you can
hard to
ask
get me.
anybody, Eric. We don't need to
Yeah,
ask your
well, I
wife.
know, right?
I'm
So,
teasing. I'm teasing.
no, it's true. I'm sure there's more than one person out there that
I'm just
that
teasing
knows
you.
that I'm
But
a
no,
mess.
you are. You
So,
are. You're very determined, but you are stubborn. But like, it takes you time to like mull things over and think things over and like decide if you're gonna change something or whatever.
yeah, it could take years. So,
Right. But and honestly, I don't know. For me, all qualities are qualities. Flaws, positive qualities, whatever, right?
sure.
It's how you use them. And if you're aware of them, and if you're not a dick about it, like, right?
Yeah, that's the number one thing I think people need to know, especially if you're coming into it as a writer or you want to be somebody that's in a part of the community. Is just don't be a
Right.
dick. It's not that
Right.
hard.
It really is. And like even just acknowledging things about yourself. Like I'm working full time as an editor, as an editor, and I have ADHD, right? Like my time management is not,
Yeah,
it doesn't come easy to me. Like I literally live out of an agenda like a high school student while I
yeah,
do that work. And I'm like, but it's like I'm upfront about that. I tell my clients, I'm like they'll send me something and be like, actually, can we push this deadline? I'm like, I can try, but you're gonna need to nudge me every day because in my mind it's the 27th. So if
yeah.
you want that for the 18th, like that's gonna take me a minute to like whatever. So you're gonna have to like, help me along, or like I'm gonna have to go reschedule, like try to work it around and like I'll get back to you kind of thing, right? Like because it's like I can't just pivot like that, even though I want to, like, because I want to just be like, yeah, for sure, I'll do it.
Well, I'm the same way.
Yeah. But it's like, I can't just, on the fly do that.
That's why I only accept anthologies from like 3 people now.
Right.
They can't
It's so
handle
smart
that.
though. Once you learn your own kind of limitations, it actually is like hella helpful. And then you can slowly like work on those things, like within reason. And
Yeah,
then you actually just end up like developing more. Like, like someone told me like, like speaking of like timing and like hearing things, it's like someone told me like a little while ago, it was like, I don't strive for perfection, I strive for progress. And I was like, I need to do that.
yeah, for sure.
Like, I was like, I need to do that because I take something on and I'm like, immediately have to make it perfect immediately. And like, it's to my own detriment.
Yeah,
So
I know.
now I
That's
have
funny.
been like,
That is funny because I have that in the house. My son's girlfriend, who we welcomed into the household. She kind of has that sometimes, and so I get to watch it happen in front of me, and I can mentally rethink. Okay, we need to not do that every time. It's okay if we do
right,
it every once in a while, but sometimes we need
sure,
to actually just do the process, and we'll get there.
yeah,
You
sure,
can't always be perfect right away. So it
right.
also helps that
And
I'm a
even sometimes it's not going to be perfect at the end. Like when you go back and read your first stories, it was
uh,
perfect then. But you
it
go
was
back and
finished.
right because
Yeah,
again, perfect is relative. Like it is. It's
yeah,
subjective, relative.
yeah,
So
for
it really
sure.
just sets you up for failure to try to strive for perfection in a way.
It does. It really does. So you just
Yeah.
do the best you can
Hmm.
and put out what you can when you can, and then Let the what is
Yep.
it? Let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, let the cookie crumble. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
As
let the
writers and
chips fall
editors, we're
where they may.
terrible at coming up with that. So
We're writers and editors. We're like, we
yeah,
don't know any idioms.
yeah.
Is it
So
an idiom?
just
Maybe.
edit that out, and then we'll put something else in. Just a long
We'll
beep.
edit this part out.
Yeah, just do a long beep so everybody thinks we're
You
cussing all the time.
don't
And
even know what they're talking about.
but yeah, no, and it's I don't know. Like I said, just don't be a dick. It's not that hard.
Yeah,
Put your
it's true.
stuff out
And just be your authentic self. Like, be your genuine self.
and celebrate.
Which is scary sometimes. But
Yeah, but sometimes you just. I mean, I find it at older I get, the easier it is. I don't really care
yeah,
as much as I
for
did.
sure. It's much easier to become more vulnerable as you learn that terrible things don't happen every time you are.
Yeah,
Right? Like, I feel like we go through, your childhood, you're trying to, like, not get in trouble with your parents and, like, do things right and, like, make friends and be popular and, like, all this stuff, right? And so you're not, like, being your genuine self, but you're trying to learn who you are at the same time. Like, it's a weird balance. And then, like, then you're a teenager and then you have, like, crushes and you want to, like, maybe tell somebody you like them. And then it's like, that's scary. And maybe get laughed at. And then you're like, well, I'm never going to do that again. Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
right.
Things happen. But then you,
It's
like,
funny.
hit your, like, 30s or something. And it's just like, you just start to realize that you look around and you're like, okay, well, these people have been my friends for forever. So obviously there's a reason for that. It's like, I like what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think I got lucky. My mom was
I
always
don't know.
encouraging me to be weird.
Yeah,
She was big
that's cool.
into reading. I never was told no, this is too nerdy or too booky.
Right.
Video games were fine. I wasn't. I had a good balance of outside play and video games and movies.
Mhm.
I'm always been a big pop culture guy and
Right.
movie guy, and they never. My dad didn't have the sense to not edit stuff around me, so he was showing me Excalibur, Mad Max when I was like 4. And so he never
Nice.
once realized that any of that stuff might be scarring. And then my mom, by the time I was 8 or 9, figured, well, he's already seen all this stuff anyway.
The damage is done.
So she was very cool about that. And so I was always
That's
given
funny.
access to stuff way before time that I should have. And then I think that kind of bumped me up into, I was reading King at 8. And, I'm doing stuff way earlier than you should be. And so it kind of gets you on that path. To get
My
us
parents were very encouraging of the, like, creative arts. So same. We actually didn't really watch a lot of TV. We didn't have, like, game consoles. We weren't really screen kids until we were like 13, 14, 15. So, like, there was a lot of, like, writing and crossword puzzles and word searches and reading and writing your own story. Like, I used to just sit for hours, like, on my weekends and just, like, make comic strips for my parents. Like, it was like a thing I did, right? Like, and yeah, like, I read it at
Where's
11.
that? Why don't you have
First
that in
kid book
advance? I want a book. I want a copy of this stuff. Why don't you put this together?
What, my 5-year-old comic
Yeah,
books?
yeah, we need to see these. You've been putting
They're
together
just
comic
like,
strips.
honestly, they're just like essentially dad jokes,
Oh, yeah,
which is really funny. My mom
that's
has kept
fun.
a stack of, like, the stories that I, like, wrote as a kid, and a lot of them are dark. Like, they, like, end in just, like, premature death, or like some, like,
I
everybody
did.
just always dies.
I did
Which is, like,
cracked and
hilarious.
mad spoofs where I made my own
Oh
magazine,
yeah,
and I would have
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
friends do like a page or two, and we would do.
Yeah.
I've got like 5 or 6 issues in my closet somewhere.
That's so cool. So at my cottage, we did, like, the Hilltop Lane Gazette, and we did, like, a newspaper, and we would like go and, like, do interviews and, like record, like, whatever, like,
That's cool.
a dead seal was found down the beach this year, and, like, whatever. It's like, first the coyotes got to it, and now, like, whatever. We would, like, go every day and, like, check on it to, like, put it in our, like,
I need
issue
this information. I need a website or something where I can go and look at all this stuff. You need to have it
I should
collected.
upload.
I need a scrapbook of this so that we
It's so
can all share it.
funny.
That would be
That's so
hilarious
funny.
and cool to see. I mean, it's I love seeing people's creativity before they, they mature into
Tried
what they
to,
want.
like, turn it into a career, or, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's fun to
it's
look at
true.
stuff like that.
Just, like, innocent, like, free, innocent. Yeah, like, creative. Yeah, like, we used to, like, make plays up, and we would do, like, lip sync competitions, and, like we were always doing that stuff, like, growing up. And it's interesting because when you think, like, we sit around and we're like, oh, the kids these days, they'll never know what it's like to have to, like, write your own story because you don't have a library card or whatever, right? But, like, I feel like the YouTube and like TikTok culture and like all that stuff, like there is still creativity in there. Like
Oh,
people
sure.
are creating their own skits. They are creating their own
Yeah.
stories. You know, they're still doing reviews. They're still, you know, even memes. Memes are cartoons. Like really,
Hmm.
when it comes down to it, it's happening. It's just digital.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have a
Yeah.
problem with it. I just wish.
No, me neither.
I just wish people's attention span was longer because
Yeah,
I hate the fact that getting somebody to sit down for a movie is so difficult. You know, an hour and a half.
that's true.
Everything's got to be in little bite-sized bits. The younger you get, you know.
No, that's true. And I feel like we're even moving more into that. Like, so I've noticed with like a lot of the apps that come out, like I've been doing a lot of like self-care stuff for like my mental health and like whatever. And so I was like going through these different apps, and so they have like articles and videos and like whatever. The videos are 30 seconds or less. The articles are in literal like real format. So they have the little dotted lines, and like you only get like a paragraph
Yeah.
each one, right? Like it's like I could just scroll an article, man, but it's like these days, like the 20-year-olds, that's
Yeah,
what
they can.
they want to do, right?
Which is also the reason
It's
why I
how they
started.
intake information.
Which is why I started making the small books. You know,
Yeah,
people's attention
chatbots. I
span.
know it's a thing.
So,
Yeah, and that is kind of like where we're at right now.
which is, you know,
Things are progressing.
sad, but also just the way things are. So
Yeah, for sure. Like it can be both, right? Like you can be sad about times changing and still adapt and be like, okay,
mhm.
well, I'm gonna do that anyways. And then it's like you can process that sad and be like, okay, I felt the sad. I understand why I was sad because that's, you know, I want them to experience what I experienced, but also they're still experiencing things, so you can still be like okay with it after you kind of process that emotion. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I,
100%. And I think the
I
people
feel like
that can't do that are the ones that are kind of being dickish about everything.
yeah, they're the ones that like have issues
Yeah.
always. They're the customer
So,
you can never uh what's the word? I'm tired. The customer you can never please or
oh yeah,
satisfy.
for sure.
Yeah.
Those are always
Yeah.
fun though. I
They're
do
just gonna
enjoy it.
complain about everything because they're not processing things properly.
Yeah,
Which
and I just hated that it does seem a good chunk of the community is that way now. At least lately, it feels like this last
yeah.
year. There's a lot of grumbles about things that don't really matter. And if everybody just took a step back and took a deep breath, we'd all do better for it.
Also hyper fixating on like
Everything.
trying to control things that you really are never going to.
Yeah, that always bores.
Or just missing how you can control it in a
Yeah,
healthy way. Like so like AI for example, like as an editor I can choose not to edit AI work. I can also choose not to use AI in my work, and that's that for me.
yeah,
It's that
that's it.
simple. I'm not going to criticize someone else for doing it. If it becomes like pandemic that like everyone's getting canceled because only AI work is coming out, well then I'll, or
Yeah,
even if that's kind of happening, then I'll just talk louder about, from an editor point of view and a reader point of view and a writer point of view and like the benefits of like human created art and like whatever. And I mean, I still do that subliminally, but I'm not shoving it down people's throats and making them feel like, an
yeah.
a-hole
There's too many
because
people
a
that
lot
are
of times
drawing the
people just
line in the
don't
sand.
know.
Yeah, there's too many
Yeah.
people that are black and white on an issue when there's all
Mhm.
that gray in between that we really should be in.
Yeah.
And yes,
Like
they
there
all
are
have
black
their
and white like macro issues, but
yeah,
like as you get into things, it's like situational.
yeah.
Almost always.
Which is how I've dealt with everything. I think since I started, instead of trying to take everything as a big picture or like the community as a whole, I try and
Mhm.
focus on individuals.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a chance online to be one way. If you do something that makes me question maybe that I made a wrong decision, I'll give you another chance. We'll meet in person.
Sure.
And usually people will make you, um, you know, realize we're all just people and we're all just trying to do our thing. You know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
rarely am I like, all right, this person is somebody I need to avoid at all costs.
Yep.
Because once you give
I'm
them a couple
exactly the
shots, you
same
don't
way.
draw a line in the sand, and you don't need to be a dick about it. And
For sure.
everybody who thinks that they know everything, they should take a step back and realize they don't know anything. So
Because for sure the more you think you know, the less you actually do.
yeah, it really just takes
That's
the fun out of this. Because at the end of the day, what we're
it
doing is
does.
supposed to be a fun thing, and I'd much rather have a good time going to these events and seeing people and sharing my stories with other folks than worrying about you know all the other issues that these people get worked up about. that ruin their weeks. You can tell they make posts talking about how their whole week is ruined, or that they're going to quit, or
Yeah.
they're going to give up.
Imagine allowing that much power to something out of your control.
Yeah, I
But
just don't
I
get
mean,
it.
I'm saying that having had the epiphany and like moved into like, healing and adapting to that. In my 20s, I was like that, like
Oh
there was a
yeah,
time in my
yeah,
life where for sure I was like that. And I think people also forget that too. As we get older, we're like, oh, you dumb kids. Okay,
I
we
know.
were the dumb kids. Like we were
Yeah,
the
for
dumb
sure.
kids. I'm still a dumb kid sometimes, let's be
I'm
real.
lucky. My wife's always reminding me how dumb I am and letting me
Right. Oh,
know
that's nice.
that, hey, you need to take a deep breath there. Don't be an idiot. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're being hot-headed right now.
yeah,
Right? Like recognize you're upset, recognize you're angry, ask yourself why, take a deep
yeah,
breath, and then figure out what you're going to do about it that isn't going to put your fist through the drywall or, the trash can on the neighbor's yard or the dog poop lit on fire at his door. Like why do that stuff,
yeah. It also helps that I have 3 huskies. So if you really get overwhelmed, just get a husky, and you can just they'll take up all your time.
So
And they
you've been overwhelmed 3 times? Is that what I'm learning?
yeah, I know. I mean, they do whatever they want all the time, and you're constantly having to react to whatever nonsense they're up to. So,
No,
and
it's
then every
true.
once in a while, you get to hug them and stuff, and they're soft and furry and
Your
squishy.
dogs
So,
are so cute.
thank you.
And they have such hilarious personalities.
They do. That's the crazy thing, is that all 3 of them have
Right.
completely different personalities.
Right.
And I was worried about Khaleesi, but she came in hot. I mean, she's like, "This is me, and I don't care." And she's like, "I'm 100% into this,
Yep.
moving to your house." So
Yep.
we didn't have any downtime with her, other
Was
than she was aggressive about babies because she needed to be fixed.
right.
She
But
treated
then
every
once
baby
once
like
she
a puppy,
was
but once
right,
we fixed her, she kind of chilled.
she chilled out. Yeah,
Yeah.
that happens. Was to Thor. I just started True's
It's all
names.
right. Nobody gets the name right. Totoro.
Totoro. I was gonna say Tortoro. I don't know why. Anyways,
People
Totoro.
do that all the time.
Was he first though? Was he the first
Yeah,
one?
she was first.
Yeah. Oh, she.
We saw
Why
her.
did Are they all 3 girls?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, why did I think Totoro?
Yeah,
was
we
something
haven't braved introducing a male. I wasn't sure how Totoro would react to a male. I didn't want somebody to come in that thought they were the
Mhm.
boss, and I didn't know if
Mhm.
that's how it would work. So unless we knew for a fact we were going to be getting a less alpha dog, I didn't want
Right.
to add that to the equation. But I love to look at pictures, and I can look at dogs and not have to buy a dog. I can go to the pet store and see all the pets and pet them and just leave. But my wife, she's wired a little differently, so she didn't like going to the pet store. She didn't like it, but I showed her a picture of Totoro. And it was probably the 3rd husky I showed her a picture of because she was just so cute as a baby. And Dawn goes, "Call the lady right now and see if she's available." We had a 100-pound shepherd mix at the time, and so I called, and she was one of the ones that were available. And my son had been diagnosed with Crohn's, and we were going into the summer, and he had a really bad flare, and so so bad that wasn't able to finish school. Going to school, we had to have them send teachers to our house. That's how we finished that. I think it was.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
And so, so we were like, well, summer's going to be hard because he's not going to have anything to focus on. So we got Totoro to give him something to do. And so I would take her to work, and I ran a mail shop, and she would work with me until lunchtime, and then I would take her home, wake him up, and then his job was to make sure the dog didn't die until one of us came home from work.
Cute. I love that.
And that's what we did with her. So she's very vocal, and she thinks very entitled. She rides in the front seat of the car. If we get in the car, Dawn has to ride in the back. Because of every day of taking her to work, and
That's her seat.
yeah. And the cool thing was I didn't see people. I did everything by email and phone, so I just had her in there. Rarely would a person come. And then I have a ton of pictures of coming home early or checking on him. He'd be completely asleep, and she'd be taking care of him. So
She's a good first child.
she was great. And then 2 years later, maybe, yeah, I want to say 2 years later, we started getting the idea that Montana was the shepherd was going to pass, and she'd already lived 5 years past their estimate.
Right.
And so we said, well, we should get another one. And that's when we got Kittle.
Right.
And so
Kittle's
Kittle
funny.
went there right before COVID hit. So
Right.
So she has no manners, and she doesn't understand. She's not been socialized properly.
Yeah.
And
I like low key love her best. If like I
she
mean
is a
I
character.
appreciate them all three, but I feel like Kittle's my favorite.
She's great because, well, Dawn was like, I really want another one from the same father that Totoro had, which was Blue.
Oh, okay.
And so they have the same dad.
Oh, okay. So they're
And
siblings
so-
actually.
And so you can see it in their face, but they're different reds for moms. And then,
Yeah, they do look more similar than Khaleesi.
well, what's funny is so then the lady that bred those two, and then, so we get Kittle, we pay for Kittle. She has to be there for a certain period of time. And, so I think we're getting her in March. And Montana died like a week or two before. So Totoro was by herself for 1 week, and then we went and got Kittle. And she got Kittle. She didn't know what to do with Kittle. And then years later, the lady that bred those two sent me a message saying she was retiring. Asked us if we would be interested in Khaleesi.
Like,
And
look
so-
at her. I
Yeah,
know
so
she
that
made your
tone,
house.
man, the tone is just
I
crazy.
know that post was so funny. Your
And
Facebook
so
post.
I love,
That was
yeah,
so
Kittle is
funny.
good. So she calls and asks us, will you take Khaleesi? She's low on the pack. She doesn't get a lot of attention and love, and she really needs more. So we'd like to put her in a different house. And she's Kittle's
A
mom.
literal underdog. I
Yeah.
love it.
Well, she is an aggressive mom. She's a good mom. I'd love to have seen her with her babies, but one of her babies is Kittle. So now we have that. So there's two. At some point, two of them are all connected.
Right.
Totoro and Khaleesi aren't connected except for in their desire to, have the baby more. So
Right. That's cute though.
yeah, it's a good story, and they're fun to have, and I've incorporated them into the brand, and it's a good story. And they're such a big part of our lives that I couldn't do this without mentioning them.
For sure.
And the kid
They
doesn't
would
like
never
McDonald's.
they would never let you.
Yeah, I know
There's
that.
I don't know one person that everyone else doesn't know they have huskies.
Right. That's
Like
true.
if someone has huskies, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
They're such big like personalities.
Yeah, no, and it's great.
Because you
And it's
can't
fun.
get through your day without being like, I didn't get to sleep last night because my dog took up my king size bed.
Well, I'll
you
tell
know.
you, I didn't get much sleep last night because of them. So I was up at 3 dealing with something, and then another couple hours after that, I was up feeding them, and then they woke me up a couple hours after that. They were all just howling for no reason.
Yep.
And so
They had a reason, you just didn't know it.
Yeah, so I ended up just getting up. So, and now the thing they do now is Khaleesi likes to sleep in front of the doorway, all the way across it, and blocks it. And so whoever's in the bedroom can't get out, and whoever's outside the bedroom can't get in.
Can't
And then
get
they'll start fighting at any time. So it could be midnight or 2 a.m, and I'm constantly getting up and dragging Khaleesi out of the way so the other dogs can get by them because they all think it's a trap. And so, yeah, we don't get a lot of sleep here.
That's so funny. Like they're worse than kids, man.
Oh yeah, no, and they jump in the bed, and they, a lot of times I'll come in and they're on my side, just stretched out, just you got to nudge them over so you can get into the bed and stuff. So, in fact, we got a king size
so
bed
funny.
just because we got tired of fighting 2 of them in the queen size.
Yeah, you just assume people with huskies have king size beds.
Yeah, no, we struggled for years with the queen.
Yeah. That seems like one of your dumber.
Well,
Jesus.
what are you gonna do? Everything costs. We got one of those stupid Tempur-Pedic beds, that inflated. Or no, not Tempur-Pedic. It was one of those number beds. So we had
like
those
you
for a
can
while.
so your
Yeah.
side can be a different than
Yeah.
Dawn's.
So
right?
you
Okay.
can't really just turn around and replace those quickly. So,
No, yeah, they're expensive too.
yeah. So I made sure we got a couch that was comfortable because I slept on the couch a lot, so it doesn't matter.
That's smart. One of the smarter decisions you made.
Yeah, luckily I can
Balance,
sleep anywhere.
right?
I can sleep anywhere. I can lay on the floor and sleep. So
Yeah. I mean, I can for a short time. Like this is my bed right now. I'm just sleeping on this couch at my cousin's. It was her dad's. He's like he was 6'4", So
Oh,
like
it's a
all
good
of his
size.
furniture,
Yeah.
like there's like a lazy boy upstairs that we got like inherited from him also after he passed away. And I say we, it's her house.
You're slowly
I'm
taking
just,
everything from her. You
I've
move
been
and
here
you
for
just have all her
4 days.
stuff.
I'm like, we have. Uh, I mean, we're hella close, right? We're like best friend cousins, right? Like we grew up, like we've been besties since she was born. But like, so often we think of communal things. But anyways, but yeah, she was like there's a bedroom like outside this, like I'm in the basement, right? There's like a den space and then like
Uh-huh.
a laundry room and a bedroom. But I'm like, I'm good. Like this couch is it, man. Like I'm good.
Is basements big in Canada? Does everybody have a
Oh yeah.
basement?
I mean, mind the mess.
That's
But this
cool.
is just one space. And then there's also like the laundry room space. It's dark as fuck. I don't know where the lights are in here.
That'd be
But
awesome if something jumped
hey!
out.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, like
Also, there's just a face
there's
there.
the void.
There you go.
Hi,
I've got one of
Toba.
those walking around now.
Right? And
That's the
then
other thing that's waking everybody up when he decides to
right.
come downstairs and
And then there's this like whole other bedroom in here.
Oh, that's sweet.
And Mike's got his like computer set up here. He used to have this as like a gym, Kelsey's boyfriend. But now he has like his punching bag here. Like this kind of, I mean, it's more organized than it was before, but Kelsey and I still have to like go through all that stuff. And
I get it. Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah, no.
you don't get.
But then like upstairs is like a living room, 2 more bedrooms.
Like a house. You have a house upstairs, right?
Yeah, it's a house. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So here, my neighbor has a basement, but there's only 6 in the neighborhood, and all of them are terrible. And you don't get basements
like
here.
Every house here has a basement. Some of them are unfinished. Like this is a finished basement. It's got laminate floors and curtains and furniture and whatnot. Like some of them are like cement with just like the water heaters and maybe there's
my mom lives in Kentucky,
but they're the whole size of the like floor plan, right? Like yeah.
Yeah, no, we don't have that. I wish we did. I need the space, and our attic sucks too.
I mean, there are houses that don't, but like generally speaking, people have basements.
Yeah, here it's like I said, the house next door has it, and we've been here 20 plus years. I want to say it leaks. It's leaked 20 plus years, and they're always.
This basement has flooded twice. They had to put a sub pump in, and actually, Michael just redid these floors after last winter.
Yeah, see, that's cool.
Yeah, but and I think he works for Halifax Water, which is like our public like water supply, and he learned like a bunch of stuff after that.
Yeah,
so
no, that's awesome.
He's made some like changes, but like the apartment that I'm moving out of is a basement of a house like this, 5 houses down this same street. Like I live down the street from here in some other lady's basement, like this.
Oh, that's cool.
Sort of idea, right?
Yeah, very
so I'm just moving from one Sackville basement to another temporarily. But soon I'll be living in a winterized cottage on the ocean.
That's cool, I guess.
So that's sweet.
Until the humanoids from the deep come out.
Right. Although it's 2 hours out of the city, which is going to be, I mean, I work from home when I'm not nannying. That's why I'm staying here for July, is because I have like a bunch of nanny gigs. But basically August to January, I'm going to just be focusing on editing and just trying to get, like, I'm going to like reach out for like, maybe some more like corporate jobs that are just like higher paying, less amount of time involved to just kind of subsidize, because like, obviously editing an indie novel takes work, like it's time. I am getting faster actually very quickly. So like that's wicked. But I don't charge very much. So like after like I'm basically getting paid like anywhere between like $5 and $7 an hour right now.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have to get in some bigger gigs to kind of balance it. And I
like,
can tell
my
you,
ex-boyfriend was subsidizing like the money, but now I've left, so now it's like just me with only that income, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
I need to do something about that.
Indie community thanks you for that, and every editor who doesn't gouge it. But
I mean, I'm going to have to raise my rates, but even when I raise my rates, they will still be highly affordable for like the majority of the indie authors out there. And then like, once I get this kind of more established, like I'm still new, like I just started in February technically, and like my life was a dumpster fire, so like it's been slow going. Like I've done more in the last week on this career, like on my company, than I have since I started, right? Like obviously it'll be easier like when I can
once you get it going.
have right. But and then I can still do some like pro bono stuff, and like I can still offer some lower rates to someone who's literally like, my first book ever, I have $20. I'll be like, send it along, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just so the next one's gonna be $8 per 1,000 word or whatever, right? Like, but because the idea is like to help. The idea is not to bleed you all dry. Like that's
there
it's
are
still
some
community,
sharks.
right? Like that's the point.
Yeah.
The point is to, but if I want to make a career out of it, it's not going to be by upping the rates for you guys. It's
Yeah,
gonna
you
be by
definitely need
like
to grab some corporate gigs.
yeah, just like some advertising shit. They send you like literally a frame, and they'll pay you like $200. Takes you like it could potentially take me like 30 seconds. It could take me like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and then boom, now I can take on a 50K edit for like $200 or whatever, right? Like right, and then it makes sense because like a 200K edit would or like a 50. What did I say? I said $200. 50K. Yeah, like a 50K edit is still gonna take me like 16, like 24, like 40 plus hours.
Yeah, if you do it right.
Yeah, well, I'm always gonna do it right.
Yeah, I assumed you would.
Yeah, so like but then if I can do a couple things that take me half hour here, hour there, whatever, and they're paying me like 30, 50, $100, whatever, then I can still make money.
What I always find funny is if on my work, I don't see any of the issues. My brain immediately fixes it as I'm doing it, Right. But if I read somebody else's work, I find every mistake. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like,
For sure.
So I don't know how editors do it.
Yeah, but it's different. So like as a writer, same. I need an editor more than anyone else.
Yeah.
Because when I'm writing, my editing brain isn't always on. So because even like. So I'll write and then I go into editing mode on the, so then I'm like, okay, I'm going to edit my story. And I'm like, wow. I was like, hate to be my editor. Like, seriously.
Yeah, no, my editor brain doesn't work.
It's 2 separate skills, man.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah,
I never I know, like, I mean, there's times where I'm just like, holy man, this feels like a slog today because I'm having a bad day. It's not about the author or the writer or whatever.
Right.
Every edit, it just is the job, right? So some stories are more pique my tickle my whatever pickle or whatever they say. Fancy. So like sometimes I like hella enjoy doing it because then I get like really invested and I'm like invested in the story. So then I'm like, oh, and like they haven't
does that ever cause a problem?
But I'm like,
does that cause a problem if you get really invested in the story and stuff? You just start reading it, or do you have to remind yourself?
Yes, that has happened. I catch myself pages down and I'm like, I haven't made a comment. I was like, I should go back. Yes, that does happen. But like, obviously, I catch it or whatever. But I find in those ones, I'm like DMing or like emailing the author, just being like, as I'm working, I'll just be like, this came up. And like, I'm more like I don't want to wait for like me to send the whole document to get the answers. I'm like, I want to know like what you meant by this.
Heather did that right before we started talking. She's the editor on the Secret Project, I guess, however you want to word it. She sent me
I know all about the Secret Project, Eric.
I know, but nobody else does. So she sent me just a question, but I didn't understand it because I didn't know what she was doing. But I guess she was reading my story. So.
Right. Yeah. Actually,
she eventually got to it. We figured it out.
Right.
I also explained that after I finish something and hand it off, within a week or so, I will not remember anything. So.
Yep. I'm like that too with my stuff. Kelsey asked me about this story that I had published in like one of the anthologies last year, and I was like, I can't even remember the characters' names, man. I'm like,
I get worried about that sometimes.
That's my shtick. When I read when I read books, the characters is what's up for me. I love the characters, names, backstories, development, interactions. Like, that's my whole thing. Like, but as a writer, I'm like, who? I don't know.
I always find that funny too, because like my first book, Shadow Within, sometimes their complaint is took a little bit of time to get there, but once it did, it's like balls to the wall. But that's the character development part, right? And so then
I'll be like, perfect story. Like,
but then I flipped it, right? And some of them I start with all this stuff going crazy, and then you get to know the characters as it's going on. Then I'll get the lot of action, a lot of gore, whatever. But I wish there was more character development set up. And I'm like, you just can't win
Right.
with everybody. But
Right.
I just
So
always
that's
find
why
it
you
fun.
write the
That's what
story,
I'm-
though, because
Yeah.
every single story is going to have someone say too much of a slow burn. Someone's going to say too fast paced from the get. Pacing was terrible.
So write what you
then
want to
also
write.
you're gonna get the like 1%ers too that are like, what was this guy thinking writing this? And like everyone else is like glowing reviews, and it might be like different parts of it that they like and didn't like. Or whatever. This other person's gonna be like, didn't make sense. It's like, okay, to you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like you don't
those are
write
always
for
fun.
reviews,
Yeah.
You can
Oh,
read
you
them and
can't write
take them
for
with a
reviews.
grain of salt and whatever. And
Yeah.
like they're funny and like, I appreciate reviews. I don't read reviews. I write reviews. I'm a reviewer for A Comfortably Dark. I don't read them before I read a book.
Yeah, read a book.
I read them after I read the book. I'm like, I form my own opinion, and then I go and I'm like, what are other people saying? And then I find out which polarized side I'm on or whatever, right?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't like previews at all, and I think a review.
I don't watch previews for movies. Nope.
When I was a kid, probably from 10 till 20, I would either leave the theater while the previews were on, or I would just cover my ears and close my eyes.
Yeah, just like
and
forget
my
about it.
friends would be like, he's just doing what he's doing, because I didn't want to know anything. I just needed to know the title of the movie and the genre, and I'll tell you if I want to go see it or not. And I wanted to see everything. I love movies.
Me too. That's the thing. Like, I just wanted to know what you said, the title and the genre, and then I'll decide when I'm in the mood to go see something like that.
And I thought the greatest ad campaign was Tim Burton's Batman when I was younger, because it just was that symbol, and that was it.
Yes, that was it.
I was like, that's all I needed.
That was the best.
Okay, a Batman movie's coming out. Done. So,
like you're a little bit older than me. I want to say you probably.
I'm like way older than you, probably.
Not well, like maybe like 10 years. Like when you were born, 75.
I was born in 75. Yes.
There you go, 85. I knew it. I just whatever. So, anyways, but like back in our day, like previews weren't as like open book as they are now. Like I find like when you watch a preview now for like a Marvel movie, you're like, oh, I've seen the whole thing.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Like that's like a 2.5 hour movie that I just watched in 3 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they just show the best parts. They show the funniest lines. They show that it's like, and I know they're trying to get people to come, but it's like the people are going to come anyways. Like save that shit for like, because then you're like in theater and you're like, well, this isn't funny anymore because I already saw it.
I've seen it 700 times on TV and whatever, other theaters. It used to be where I would drag it. My friends, every Friday we'd go to opening night, we would see something. When I got married, I would drag Dawn. Hey, we got to go see this and that. And so, but COVID, that's the thing COVID did the worst, was totally destroyed the movie going experience. I don't even feel like, I can't remember the last time I went to a movie, and I don't ever feel the need to go.
Since COVID, I might have seen 2.
Yeah.
Maybe 3. And it was like, it was almost like we were like, let's go to a movie because that's a crazy thing to do these days. Like,
and it's so expensive now, and you're just like.
We have cheap Tuesdays though. It's like $7.
Like $7 Tuesdays are always nice, but it's like trying to get adults to
busy
on a Tuesday.
Right.
They're like,
yeah.
I got
it's true.
Or I got tomorrow. I got to do this, or I got work, or whatever. So
it's true. It's like just get me to Friday.
Yeah, and then trying to get.
That's also something I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to stop working to get to Friday. I'm trying to like enjoy each day.
Yeah, I usually can't remember, other than unless I have an appointment with one of the kids.
Yeah, same actually.
Something like that. I've
when you messaged me last night being like, "What format are we doing this on?" I was like, "Oh, it's Saturday already."
Yeah. So I'm not always there. So.
I mean, Sunday.
Nice.
Sunday. Is it Sunday?
Today is Sunday. Yes.
Yesterday was Saturday when you messaged. Yes. That's funny. But it's true. I live off my agenda straight up. I have to carry it around everywhere with me. And I have my eye calendar, and constantly I'm like looking at the eye calendar and making sure it's also in the paper book, which like makes like not sense to most people. But I'm like, I need it in both, because what if I stop looking, like, so at the beginning of every month, at the end of every month, I make sure it's both there. Because I'm like, what if I stop looking at the book because I'm no longer, it's not in the ADD circle of thought, but my phone is here.
Yeah, you definitely should have a backup.
Right? I have to have a backup.
Yeah, we have a calendar on the wall for important things, and then alarms set for other things.
Yeah, I have I missed my flight to Edmonton because I set my alarms for PM. Cool. I've set my alarms to PM on accident. Never for something as important like a flight. I've never done that.
Pretty crazy. I always worry I'm going to do that at scares, and so
Well, I did miss a flight going home because I
yeah,
stayed up drinking on
I just
Sunday.
worry about not showing up for scares. Being in the
Like
hotel
just not getting there.
oversleeping.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
right.
or just oversleeping. I'm
I
not a
don't know
morning
that we
person.
would let you. Like we'd probably all be messaging you.
I was worried this last time
But,
because I was in a different hotel for sure. I had the alarm set like 5 times
right.
because I
You
knew
were.
you
Yeah,
could knock
yeah,
on the
yeah,
door, make sure I was there.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm not a morning
You
person.
did. You did a whole different thing this last year.
Yeah,
You stopped at your parents. You
yeah.
didn't drive straight. You stayed at a different hotel.
And it worked, and it made it so that I
Anyway,
felt like I want to do it. I'll do it the next year, no
hmm
problems.
yeah. No, that's true.
Because it's a
That's cool.
tough bounce back. That
What's your
drama experience.
yeah. Oh yeah, big time. We like didn't hear from you for like a day and a half
Yeah,
after the first scares. He is
yeah,
sleeping
for sure.
forever.
Yeah.
Um what's your like next event? Like the
Texas Author and Reader Con, July 19th and 20th. That's in Irving,
okay.
Texas, and it's going
Right.
to be at the Irving Convention Center, which is the first time we've done it there. We have over 100 writers. That it's a multi-genre thing, but 40, I want to say 40 to 50 of them are horror authors, and there's some big names: Ronald Malfi, Rebecca
Oh, Matthew's going.
Rowland, Candice Nola, Ennerbach will be there. PC3 will be there. Chris Miller.
Right. Oh yeah, all four of the horsemen together.
Yeah, Megan Stockton will be there.
Yeah.
I think she's coming with Not Sally, and
Oh
I think
yes,
who
not
else?
Sally.
Trying to think who else. There's just so many
I
good writers. David Merrill.
don't know who that is.
He does a lot of extreme stuff on Godless.
Okay.
He does a big zombie. He has a zombie series that's fun.
Right.
Um, I'm always gonna
See,
say-
if I could ever go, like, afford to go to another con in a year, the two that I would have to battle between would be Texas Author Reader Con and TBR.
So that's funny because I'm doing TBR as well. So
Yeah, I know you are.
I've got Texas
You're
Author
doing
Con,
both.
and
You're
I'm
doing
doing
all three of the ones.
yeah, right. And so after the next weekend after Texas Author Con, I'm doing Texas Haunters Con with PC3,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
they do Halloween decorations, horror makeup, a whole bunch of different odds and ends, but it's horror based. We're going to be
Right.
two of maybe 4 or 5 authors, so we wanted to test
Okay.
the
Oh,
waters
that's
and see how
cool.
that goes. And then the next
And that's when
weekend,
in like August?
no, that's the next weekend. So that'll be
Oh, like
July
end of July.
26th.
Oh, okay. Well, that's sweet. Thank you. This has gone on an hour and a half. I didn't even
Yeah, I'm not
realize.
sure how long you normally go. So